Hey everybody, I'm Jeffrey Vizcaino, your director of social media here at Playbill, and I'm here with the one, the only global pop star, Sebastián Yatra. Thank you for being here at Playbill.
Jeffrey, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I never really thought I'd be here at Playbill, so this is pretty crazy and epic for me.
Well, we're going to talk about that. So, I was just telling a lot of my coworkers here, we get a lot of like famous people that come to Broadway, but I would say your level of fame just feels like ginormous. And so I'm very interested to hear about like what this journey was to come to Broadway and to be in Chicago for you.
I mean, coming here, it's an enormous. I wouldn't even say it's a dream come true because it was beyond my dreams. I never imagined that I could actually be on Broadway. I remember I saw Ricky Martin here doing Evita like 12 years ago, and he blew my mind because I was like, it's so amazing that a Latino is doing a male lead on Broadway. That's so crazy for my culture, for my people. But I never imagined I would be the Latin singer that would be up next to do a male lead in Broadway, especially in a play like Chicago that's so iconic. It's the longest running play musical here, and I've been learning so much from them. I'm in love with this character, Billy Flynn. It really permits me to do things I wouldn't do on my regular day-to-day basis personality. So that's kind of cool.
It's amazing. So tell me, let's go back in history. When did you, have you always been a love of theater? What was the first time you even saw theater? Do you remember that?
I mean, I started singing because of theater. I did a high school musical in school when I was 12 years old. And that's the reason that I got into singing. I remember I was competing with my cousin Danny. We were going back home from school one day, and he started singing all the High School Musical songs because he said that the next day there was going to be auditions for the school play, which would be High School Musical. I had never sang in my life consciously, but I saw him singing well, and I was like, oh, I gotta beat this kid. So I started singing, and I was like, oh, my voice isn't that bad. I'm gonna try out, and I went to the auditions, and I got the part as Troy. And there it just became an obsession. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to write songs. I started changing the lyrics to different songs to like work on lyrics, and then I started writing my own songs. And I ended up doing some more theater in school, but just a couple of plays. I did also Into the Woods. I did The Nutcracker, like in the city theater. But I remember my drama teacher, she would always be like, Sebastian, when are you gonna be in the plays? Come on, you can be the lead, and would just tell me which play. And I'm like, no, I'm a singer. I'm writing songs. I'm just gonna be singing right now. I took the singing very, very seriously. But deep down, I always knew that I would love to actually really live the experience of what it would be like giving my absolute best in theater and actually preparing a character and learning how to act, because I think this is the best place to really, I mean, it's kind of weird that I'm saying I'm gonna go learn how to act on Broadway. Should already know how to act. I mean, I've done some stuff already. I did a series for Netflix with Manuel Caro, who's an awesome director from Mexico, and I've done a couple other cameos. But here it's like really that experience of like, for me, this is like that real acting situation where it's all live and you have to live the emotions from beginning to end and take people through that whole story continuously. And it's beautiful because you get to live it night to night, and not in the sense that you like, okay, record a bunch of different scenes at different times, and then you see the movie at the end and you're like, oh, now that makes sense, now I understand the story. Now here it's like you're in crescendo all the time.
Totally. You were just talking about you coming to learn. That's not weird to say at all. I know so many actors who say like they want to do the show because they get better by learning from other people. So like, and I'm sure as you've been working with, I'm sure your choreographers and stuff like that for the show, you're learning just from them as well.
I'm learning from everybody here. It's like I'm all ears, all eyes, and I'm letting it soak in, and I'm having fun with it. I'm making a lot of friends. We haven't even debuted it yet. I'm gonna start in a week.
Yeah.
So I start the 25th.
Yep.
And it's cool because Bianca American is coming back to the role of Roxy the 25th as well. She's such an icon.
Such an icon.
And she's such a beautiful person, and we're getting along great. And the rehearsal is good. It's been good for me too, because since she's not doing the play right now, he can actually come and be with me in the rehearsals, and like we're being able to like build something together before we show it on stage. So that's pretty beautiful.
That is great because I know for a lot of people who've come into Chicago, they have these like very quick put-ins, and usually they don't get to meet the cast until the day they're in the theater in costume, stuff like that. So that's great that you've already kind of like have somebody to be kind of like your safety person who you're going to be there along the way. That's great. And like you said, Bianca, we here at Playbill and just Broadway in general, like we love Bianca. She's such an icon. But tell me, with this character of Billy Flynn, everyone kind of brings their own version of Billy. Tell me a little bit about the version of Billy we can expect to see with you.
Okay, so Billy Flynn, how did I build this? First, there's been a lot of information for me this past year. They told me about if I wanted to be on Chicago around like February, March, and I made the decision that I was gonna come to the work session around like April, May, and then I came to the work session, and then they were like, "Okay, let's do it 100%," and I was like, "Okay, I gotta get ready." But I've seen three different Maxes. I've seen three different Billies. I saw Richard Gere, of course, and when I saw him, it's like Richard Gere in my head all the time. Then Max Von Essen, I saw him too, and then Max in my head all the time in the scenes. And a couple of days ago, I saw Max Clayton, and then it was cool because already been getting to know the character so well and understand like where I'm at with him.
Yeah.
That I was able to not live that same thing with Max Clayton, and I was able to like really appreciate the work that each of them has done in their interpretation of Billy, but be confident in, hey, let me bring my own personality or my own interpretation a bit into this role and just have a lot of fun with it. We were in rehearsals yesterday going through Walter Bobby's notes, the original director of Chicago, and that I think has been one of the things that's helped me so much, and I'm so glad that I got to read those notes 1 week before I get on there, because there's a lot of things that I had in my head about how Billy was that changed yesterday, just reading his notes of like Billy's actual intentions, the type of guy he is, and that it's small tiny things, but he wrote that it's important to remember that Billy's not a prick. Yeah, and I had always built my Billy Flynn as like being a prick, and then you see the original director saying he's not a prick, and it's like, okay, so why does he look like a prick? Okay, there must be something else going on inside of his mind. In the end, he's honest, he's direct, he cares about money, but he's not lying about it. He wants money, he wants his $5,000. He wants to keep being the best lawyer in all of Chicago. He's number one, and he's not gonna let anyone get in his way.
Yeah, no, I love that. And then obviously you being this well-known musician, I mean, Candor Neb is kind of like the staples of Broadway, that music, those creators who created the music for Chicago. What is it like to sing that music and just as you've been preparing and getting ready in rehearsals?
Well, I keep referencing different people that I'm meeting, but there's so much respect for all these people that I meet and so much admiration. And we were actually talking about the songs in Chicago, the score, and it's such a work of art. And I was talking about it with Scott Cady, who's the pianist that is on Chicago, and he's one of the best musicians I've had the fortune of running into. He's played with like every single musician alive. And we ended the auditions yesterday, and he told me, "Hey, Sebastian, let me talk to you 1 second." He told me, "Just remember one thing. Always have, every time you sing these songs, just live it with the utmost respect for the music." And it's really important to value that, because these people, they left a huge piece of their heart in this score and these songs. And when you sing these songs with that respect they deserve, and you actually live them from start to finish, you not only does the audience get a better experience, but you're being as true as possible to that original emotion that was created back then, and that has been so strong that it's withstood wars, and it's withstood all political changes, plays and the musicals and everything, and it's still there. It's still there, and people still go to Chicago every single night to see that same story, to hear those songs. So it's all about having respect for the music, not just uh, for music that lives forever, but each person that makes music, each person that makes art, respect it.
Absolutely. And you're speaking about people coming to see Chicago over the years, but what I love about Chicago and other shows that give artists from different walks of life or different fame to come to Chicago is that not only do you get to experience doing something like Broadway the first time, but because of your fame, you're going to be bringing audiences who maybe never would have come to a Broadway show because they want to come see you. You might, because someone comes to see Chicago, they're going to be like, I never saw a Broadway show, but now I like seeing Broadway or I like seeing musicals and plays. I want to go and watch or be in musicals and plays because they came to see you in Chicago.
That's beautiful. I mean, if you think about it that way, yeah, these collaborations like this between musicians, actors, people that are musicians, yeah, actors that don't do theater maybe, or people that are in the world of entertainment but have never done Broadway. When we do these mixes, definitely it's like a win-win for all of us. We all can grow a lot from it, learn new things, and definitely that when new people come to see it, it can be the beginning of other dreams coming true. Because seeing a play for the first time is something really magical. It's like understanding how a watch actually works, looking at the back of a watch and being like, oh my God, how is there so much synchronicity? How is it that so many different pieces fit together to create this one outstanding thing, but you're seeing it happen live right in front of your eyes. And it's a lot of times when I go to plays, I'm like, I see them, and I'm also, another part of my mind is seeing if there's any things that I notice, like, oh, that was wrong, that shouldn't have been there. And it's so hard to find errors here in Broadway, especially, and it's insane that they're doing this night after night after night after night, 8 shows a week. I'm gonna be doing that for 4 weeks, but I mean, it's 4 weeks is nothing. I mean, these people do it a year, 2 years, 3 years. Bianca's been doing Chicago for 20 years, 20 something years. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not only has she been doing it here on Broadway, but she's been doing it around the world as well. So yes, that's absolutely crazy. And speaking on that, I mean, you have a friend or someone you've worked with in the past that has a big old connection to Broadway, is that LinManuel Miranda. And I don't know, have you, when you announced that you were doing it, have you heard from him? Have you talked anything at all with Lin about support or anything, giving you any tips or anything like that?
I mean, I just walked into the Playbill offices, and they had a little cushion of, like, a little pillow on the chair, which is Lin-Manuel doing Hamilton. So that was pretty fun. I actually talked to him yesterday. I told him, because I hadn't told him that I was gonna be in Chicago, and he congratulated me. He said we love Billy, and that hopefully he'll be in New York soon, because he's out of the city right now. But
Yeah.
hopefully we'll coincide the dates, because that would be such an honor for Lynn to come see me. I'd be super nervous that night, honestly. If Lynn comes to see me on Broadway, it's like, when we did Dos Oruguitas from Encanto, I was a little bit more like in my territory as well. It's like this shared territory. It's like making music, making songs, but like having him see me like doing Chicago, I'm scared. Plus, he's never seen me live, because when I sang at the Oscars, Lynn couldn't come last minute. Because the whole COVID situation was so crazy back then. It's like a lot of times you were gonna go to an event and last minute you couldn't go. But yeah, so I would love for him to come, of course. I'm such a big fan.
Maybe his team, your team and his team won't tell you that he's in the audience that night. You just find out after the show.
I'd rather that.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I was like, well, thank you so much for sitting with me. You're gonna be in the show November 25th through December 22nd, so 4 weeks only. So people have got to make sure they come and see you for those 4 weeks. Thank you so much for talking with us today, and I can't wait to see you as Billy Flynn on Broadway. And thanks for just coming to Broadway.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
I'll be looking for you in the crowd.
Absolutely, you'll definitely hear me. I'm very loud.
Okay, I'm gonna be looking every single night, up and down, everybody, until I find you. And if I don't find you, I'm gonna come back here, and I'm gonna steal the Lin-Manuel Miranda pillow.
Hold it for ransom. I
Yeah.
get it. I absolutely get it. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys.